and many other groups here in the community to sue the state of Colorado over the I-70 expansion. And in that time, I learned a lot of tools about educating our community about public health, about how to take on the state and work with lawyers and public health officials to take on the desperate needs of communities like Global Elyria Swansea. Now, GreenLatinos is a national environmental justice organization, and they chose Colorado to be the very first state in America to bring a program where we would bring resources to fight for the rights of people in North Denver. If you had a chance to visit our booth over here, we recently released a study that we've been working on with the University of Colorado Public Health School for over a year. And in it, we documented more than 183 polluters in North Denver alone, 36 of them that have been out of compliance for 3 straight years. Asleep at the wheel doesn't even begin to say the concerns for our community. And what we've done with GreenLatinos is grow the movement. And for 5 years, even before I worked with GreenLatinos, we fought for air toxics legislation. Just a little background on it, in 1970 they passed the Clean Air Act, and they promised to come back and regulate the worst polluters, but they didn't. In 1992 they had another opportunity to do it, but they didn't do it. This year Colorado joined 20 other states in saying enough is enough and keeping corporate polluters accountable, and we passed that law. We also passed an Environmental Justice Act last year, which has the opportunity to reform more than 10 government divisions, right? The Department of Public Health and Environment from the state of Colorado, the Department of Natural Resources, Office of Energy, Agriculture, places that we know systemically they've ignored communities like Global Elyria Swansea, allowing harm to be done by corporations and not allowing resources to come back to our communities. A huge part of this is we know that our communities want to be part of clean energy. We know that we want to have clean, healthy homes. We know that we deserve the right to clean air and clean water just like anybody else. And so the Environmental Justice Act was passed, but it wasn't that easy. Actually, the governor of the state of Colorado said he would veto the Environmental Justice Act. So GreenLatinos went to Boulder, Colorado, and flyered his community and said we'd be back in 2 weeks. We traveled to 11 cities across the state of Colorado asking for them to join us in their fight, and they did. And we came back to Boulder, Colorado and marched on the governor's house with his own councilman, his own county commissioner, his own state representative, and on the last day we passed the Environmental Justice Act. On Tuesday, in Commerce City at Eagle Point Recreation Center from 9 a.m. until 7 p.m., the Environmental Justice Action Task Force is meeting in our community. I invite you to come have your voice be heard there. I personally was elected the co-chair of this task force, and I couldn't be more proud to be from an environmental justice community and to be leading the fight for a better future for you and for my mother who still lives here in North Denver. We invite you to come to that meeting, to join GreenLatinos, to join us in the fight for environmental liberation, because it is about liberating ourselves from structures that have caused us harm for far too long. No more broken promises. Join us in showing up. This year alone, we passed 9 environmental justice laws, and we couldn't have done it without people like you in our communities. GreenLatinos went to 16 cities this time in April. And next year we'll probably go to 20 because we know the problems are growing, the fires are growing, the air quality is getting worse, and now there are billions and billions of dollars that are available to you and me. We need to make sure that we advocate with the climate office from the city and county of Denver to make sure those resources come back to us, to your community, so you can have the solar panels and lower your energy costs, so you can be sure the water you're drinking from your tap is clean. Again, I'm Ian Thomas Tafoya. Please join us with GreenLatinos. We really appreciate it. And I don't know what happened to the bands.